all this art that I'm doing, it's because of a mistake, and that mistake was made when I tried to kill myself. My full name is Jai Matthew Jung Bahadur Mitchell. I have no formal training in art whatsoever, and I have just kind of mostly done portraits. As a kid, I remember that when I would have a lot of anxiety or fear, that my mom would just get some paper and some pencils or crayons or whatever and just put me in a corner. So I would try and get out of my house as much as possible. It was a much smaller house, than all the other houses. My mom was a waitress. My dad had been fired from his job, and he was driving Coke trucks, and so things were, according to my mom, things were pretty slim. So it was always good to get out of the house. All of my art, directly or indirectly, goes back to traumatic events from my childhood. My sister and I were both sexually abused, raped by someone. In my case, here's a grown man taking a 5-year-old child, bending him over a kitchen table so they can't. First of all, you're not going to comprehend what's going on, but you can't even see what's going on, and just pain, screaming. Everybody has to speak up. I've talked to people who lived in that neighborhood. They knew something was going on, but everyone's afraid to speak up. Kids aren't allowed to speak up. So if you're a kid out there and something's happening, speak up. Tell your friends, tell a family member, tell the police, tell a teacher, tell somebody. If you have suspicions of something, just talk and talk and talk until something happens. 2014, June 15, I tried to kill myself, and I didn't take enough pills. I took as many sleeping pills and a bunch of other pills, washed them down with a ton of vodka. I thought that would do the trick. I wrote a suicide note, laid down, and I thought that was it. But I did wake up and ended up, going to an emergency room, and then they put me into a mental hospital. You're just looking for any type of relief, and they do an incredible job in there. There's yoga therapy, music therapy, meditation, and you use these things to help break up your day. And it just happened one day. They're like, okay, in the back room, art class. And I went back, sat down. A woman wheeled in a bunch of art supplies and a bunch of magazines with stuff you could draw from. Gave us some paper, and I had some oil pastels, and there I was, a little kid again, in a corner. It just felt good, and it felt like I was suffocating, and now I was breathing. When my art started kind of getting some attention, when I would post stuff on social media, I never told anybody about any of my background, and I never really intended to. I always wanted things to be about the art. There's always stigma with it. In deciding to kind of open up about things, involving the art, I always wondered if, let's say I go try and get an editing job again or a producing job, if they've seen, once these things are out, they're out. Is somebody going to not hire me because they see that I've been in, mental hospital 4 times, or, are they going to say, we can't trust this person? They're not legally allowed to, but I'm sure they could. It's not just a traumatic experience, it's a traumatic lifetime. So I think the more people understand that, maybe that's going to stop somebody, who thinks, okay, I have this impulse, and I'm thinking of acting on it. You know, if they knew how much they're going to destroy somebody, and I think also just communities, governments, if they knew how long that period of trauma is going to be, and how many hospitalizations are going to be involved, and that if somebody just has the bravery to step in and do something, you know, early on, then maybe there's hope.
Jay's images breathe. The vocabulary of his strokes emerge from pain. He transforms this pain into a visual memory. His works in this exhibition became clues to understand the unspoken. And that is where exactly the art defines its place. To open up in a society, to shake, and to share with the whole public with a hope to move something for the future.